$200.
That's much
$300.
Olivia. You can't trust Olivia. You can't trust
She come here tomorrow.
We're at Limos.
Asa mo may careful man. Mumita. What you patches man?
Terrible.
You know, sometimes you're a little careless with your phone, eh?
I'm so sorry.
Good afternoon to you. Well, it's actually evening. Hi. Tashika, but hi, how are you doing? Calera, who's that? The Prime Minister says that the date for the election is coming soon. The Prime Minister says that the date for the election is coming soon. Okay. Now I got information today that the Labour Party is arranging mass meetings. There will be mass meetings coming up. Stay focused. Can you inbox me? I'll send you some information, please. It's 15 minutes after 6 o'clock, and we're gonna go with you until about 8 o'clock tonight. Stay tuned for KC. He should be coming on any minute now. Stay focused. Are you friends with me on this platform? Just send me a message. Let me see if I can do that. No. There's no time like the present. So I've just followed you. I just followed you. Okay, followed you. Follow me, and I'll send you some information. Okay, sir. All right. Let's do this again. Let's come back over here and do that. Labour Party was in Portland, Vaasland on Sunday. Big gospel concert. Mandeville, I see you coming through. Stay focused. Stay focused. Don't get distracted now, you know, brother. Don't get distracted. Stay focused. There's an election to be won. I tell you, no. I recommend you interview Denishka Williams. Okay. Well, I see lots of people want to talk to me, but they don't want to pay. So until Casey comes, you're awesome. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you so much for the gifts. And we have to get this thing done. the fact of the matter, you see, listeners, is that the government led by Becca, good afternoon. The government led by Holness is ramping up its take for a third consecutive term. You think they're going to get it? You really think Holness and his team is going to get a third term? It appears as if they have a good shot at it, you know. It really appears as if they have a good shot of it at this time. The fact of the matter, hey Chance, how are you? Take a chance on me. Nice, great, fantastic. Fact of the matter is that the government has made significant strides in terms of the development of the country. When you look at the economy, when you look at the various social services, it appears as if the progress, you know, has been, you know, it can't be denied. Prophet?
Good evening, my boss. Wagwan.
Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm a good man, me good.
Yes.
When I Northeast Manchester, I always watch your program, you know.
What's happening up there?
Northeast Manchester.
Yeah.
Northeast Manchester is a one-way seat, you know, so we not too worry about what them are doing with them are saying.
That's all, Jamal?
Yeah, RG Marks.
Why she's making a mark? She's making a mark up there, man, eh?
More than one. She make a big mark.
I understand that the politics in Manchester has now shifted in favor of the Labour Party.
By a big margin. Big margin. Big margin.
Yes. I expect Marks to win that by over 1,000 votes.
Well, to me, I think one time Mr. Shah did win by 2,000 something. Well, she go win bigger than that.
Here you go. Oh, Well, sir, I'm waiting on my forecaster. I should have had him from just after 6 o'clock. I don't know what is happening, but stay tuned. We should have some figures for you.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Great. Yeah. So I'm telling the listeners in the meantime that the government has done sufficient that they're going to be hard to beat. I don't care what the comrades say. They could have jump and prance, push up them fists, sing about blood and fire. They cannot deny that the government has a track record of performance. And you know, if this was a country that was really serious about its development, we would have to take some time and assess what it is that we are doing and whether or not we shouldn't seriously consider continuity. Right? Because the government can run on its record, you know. This government can run on its record, you know. The challenge is that the People's National Party has a very effective propaganda machine. PNP knows how to win elections, you know. Right? I think they have studied the weaknesses in the Jamaican electoral process and are well able to use it to their electoral benefit. Right? People tell me that based on how this government has performed, they should be 12, 15 points ahead in any poll. right? PNP's propaganda machinery is powerful. And when you consider that they have support in the media, you understand that the Labour Party will have to, do what it can. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my throat here. Fact of the matter is that the government's policies would have led to growth, job creation, and increased prosperity. One of the questions that you ask yourself as you go to the polls is your life better? Is Jamaica better than it was in 2016? That's a basic question that you use to evaluate a government. Cow 10J, what is that? What is that? Is Jamaica better? Have we made any strides forward? That's how you judge the government. Yes. And maybe tomorrow I'll do the comparison. Tell you where we were in 2016 and where we are now. It's not a hard question to answer, It is not a hard question to answer. To ask voters, are you better off? Are you better off, listeners? Are you better off? And individual situations varies. People for individual, because of personal responsibilities, their lives may vary somewhat or the other. But is Jamaica better than it was in 2016? Ask yourself that question as you go to the poll. Is Jamaica better? And if the answer is yes, choose Jamaica. If your answer is yes, choose Jamaica. And if your answer is no, well, then time come. Right? And I'm sure that if we should do a poll online now, the majority of people will tell you that the country is better off than it was in 2016. And so you don't have to look far. By the way, I understand that there are polls that are showing significant gains for the Labour Party. I don't know if anyone else has heard it, but little birdie push things under my door from time to time. I get calls. I want to make sure that I am able to verify the information that the polling is showing positive momentum on the side of the Jamaica Labour Party. Is that true? That the Labour rights are opening up a significant lead in the polls? That's my understanding. My understanding is that the school bus policy initiative is positive, plain positive for the Labour Party. It is almost as if it is having the same effect as the 1.5 in 2016. Is that true? Well, that's my understanding, that the party has opened up a lead, a significant lead over the People's National Party. Wow. And they are going to be having some mass meetings in Montego Bay, Mandeville, Halfway Tree. I see the Prime Minister saying that the date for the election is soon. My understanding is that there is to be an announcement after the Emancipation celebrations. Wow. What an interesting couple of weeks we have ahead of us here. What an interesting couple of weeks we have ahead of us here. Kojo 10 is, what is your name, sir? What would you come here? Would you come here for 1 minute? Let me ask you a question, my comrade friend. Could you just send me a request? Let me ask you to, let me. Why you don't come and just talk to me for? But KAO, how you pronounce that? Where you pronounce that from? Yeah. I have contacts, man. I have contacts. Just come up here now and let me tell you. I said that I understand that the party, Jamaica Labour Party, is has opened up a lead over the offline. You want to speak to me offline? All right then. Send me your just WhatsApp. No WhatsApp. Just inbox me and I will talk to you. All type of people want to talk to me offline. I'll see what I can do. Let's be for Jamaica without politics. All right. You know, so politics affect every aspect of your life. Politics is what determines the price you pay at the pump and how much you pay for bread. So we have to talk about the politics. I'm going to give you 10 things that I have seen in Jamaica that has positive momentum for the Labour Party. Number 1, infrastructure projects. Record levels of infrastructure projects. Roads, highways, public transportation. Yes. Infrastructure. It's a pioneering period for Jamaica when it comes on to infrastructure. If you look on the capital side of the budget, you realize that the government is investing heavily in infrastructure. The government has also promoted economic growth. You know, they talk about no new taxes, and there's a narrative, a propagandist narrative that is suggesting that the government would have increased taxes. No go so. By the promotion of economic growth, creating jobs and opportunities for Jamaicans, these policies would have helped the government's revenue. And when government collects more revenue, then it can do more for the citizens of the country. My understanding is that they have done pension reform. Yes. Providing financial security for retirees. I also understand that there's a social pension for persons who have not made any contribution to the pension scheme, but if you are over 75.
I have to ask. I gotta ask. I can't buy a dog. If I buy a
Vehicle is good.
Oh, it have what you call it again? No, me that more AC. 4 wheel.
Yeah, about 4 wheels, yeah.
You see, I want to be talking. Why can you so like you want to give? What the thing? What is
4-wheel drive?
All right, that is the people that that are not paying attention. They're from Trinidad. All right. Yeah. So That is what is happening for the Jamaica Labour Party in terms of the changes that would have happened in the country over the last 9 years. And Jamaicans are now being called upon to examine the choices that they have before them, and to make a choice in a government that has laid the foundation, yes, as against a party that has not yet defined for us what it is that they intend to do. Those are the choices, really. Scratchy?
Blessed afternoon, neighbor.
How are you, man?
Not bad.
Yes, Scratchy. I understand the Prime Minister has said that the election is going to be soon. The Nationwide is reporting that. Have you heard?
Yes, most definitely. Just like most of us has already predicted, neighbor. We said it was coming soon. That's a must.
Yes. And Scratchy, what new information do you have for us in terms of how the party is preparing itself for this big occasion? It's a big election for the Labour Party, Scratchy.
Yes, there are certain index that the Prime Minister in particular was waiting on, neighbor, and I think that the Prime Minister is now satisfied with those index. And I think the Prime Minister is now satisfied. And the Prime Minister now will definitely make that call now. We also hear where 3 mass meetings are planned.
Yes.
Mandeville, St. James and Kingston strategically, at the two ends of the island and in the center of the island, very strategic again. So yes, neighbor, there's a lot of things, neighbor, why that the Prime Minister himself wanted to feel. I mean, neighbor, despite you have persons in place, neighbor, come and tell you that yes, we are ready. As a boss, neighbor, you want to see and make sure that everything is also to your pleasing as a man who is in control. And I think the Prime Minister wanted to see that in terms of how when he hit the road, neighbor, we see a different type of campaigning right now. So where the energy is with the Jamaica Labour Party. So I think the feedback that the Prime Minister is getting off the road that is also going to play a role and will definitely push him to call the election.
Scratchy, this is a big election for the Labour Party. You think it's a very important election for the party, one that the party is not expected to lose, but one that, should it win, would be quite historic. You have never gotten a third term.
And to add to that, neighbor, the election is not just important to the Jamaica Labour Party. This is very, very important to Jamaica and our whole. This election, neighbor, is what is going to let our know where our future lies in the next 10, 15 years from now, neighbor. This is going to be one of our most consequential elections that we have ever had in the last 30, 40 years. Trust me, neighbor, this one is very, very important. It is very important for the Jamaica Labour Party, but it is even more important for Jamaica and our whole and a higher level, neighbor. When you look at the work that this government has been doing, neighbor, the Jamaica Labour Party is by far the only party, neighbor, that can take Jamaica to the future. The People's National Party, neighbor, they cannot bring us to where we want to go. We have seen that over and over again. I was listening to the Prime Minister's wife over the weekend, neighbor, and she made a statement, and I think that statement is so important. When she said that Jamaica is not, we're not here for PNP to do no more experiment on us, neighbor. No more, the PNP not going to try any more financial experiment on us. We saw what happened with FinSac. They're not going to try any more type of experiment, neighbor. This is not a talk about give a next man a chance. We cannot give my next man a chance with our future. You give people a chance with their future, persons who you know can do the job, persons who are still getting the job done. And neighbor, this is what this government is getting the job done. I'm not going to put my future, neighbor, in someone who's a political novice and compared to someone who has been in politics for over a certain period of time, someone who understands the politics, understands the country, understands the person, understands the citizens on the whole. I'm definitely not going to put my future in the political novice. We don't have no time to train in neighbor. If we should elect a PNP government back to government Jamaica in neighbor, it's going to be a setback. Most of these persons, neighbor, they are not equipped to be certain type of ministers. It's going to be setback. So many things going to be setback. The leader himself, he has never been a leader in anything before, neighbor. Check Mark Golden resume, neighbor. Yes, persons told him and say he's a successful businessman. But tell me one business, neighbor, that Mark Golden has done where he was the one at the forefront. He was a leader making that move and giving initiative. No, neighbor, Mark Golden is a team player. He has always been a second or a third. And I don't want someone like that to be my prime minister going into this, going into the world, neighbor, where certain things going on. We need persons who can negotiate, persons who have steady hands, persons who understand leadership, neighbor. That's the person I want to be my prime minister.
Yes, Scratchy. I get the feeling, Scratchy, that the interests are very high for this election among laborites, among comrades, among persons of no political affiliation. Why is it that you think that the interest in this election remains substantially so high?
All right, for PNP, neighbor, for persons who support the people, the PNP and persons who support the People's National, neighbor, the party, neighbor, they are not used to this, neighbor. They are not used to being losing 3 straight elections and stuff like that. So that is where they are worried, and that is where their anxiety and their hype is coming from, neighbor. They don't want to get this third defeat, neighbor, because it will be devastating on them party. It will cause a leadership ruckus over there, and a lot of a can of worms will be opened up over there. So that is the reason why the PNP is pushing. No, Jamaica Labour Party support a neighbor. We have seen, neighbor, the tremendous work that this government is doing. We've seen the good work the Prime Minister is doing. We see what different ministers are doing, neighbor. And we want to continue on that part. Now, when you go over now, neighbor, and you say, okay, the undecided now, why are these guys so motivated? I have never seen undecided this motivated in an election in Jamaica. The undecided, neighbor, they have also seen it, neighbor. They've seen what the Prime Minister have done, neighbor. They have seen tangible stuff, neighbor, things that they can touch, things that they partake in their daily life. Every day we drive on the road, they drive on the new buses. They see it. It's not like someone is selling them in a lie. They are literally seeing what is the fruits of the country, neighbor. And definitely, neighbor, the undecided neighbor, I'm telling you, neighbor, they are going to put us over the line. I'm not worried, neighbor. I tell you before, neighbor, I'm expecting to see a voter turnout of over 60% come election day, neighbor.
Yes.
So definitely, neighbor, the three groups are very motivated. Yes, the People's National Party is motivated. The supporters are motivated. Jamaica Labour Party supporters are very well motivated as much. And the undecided is motivated. No, that high number now, neighbor. You know that's a high number of undecided voters, right?
Yes.
And neighbor, you can't want a better sign than that going into a general election, neighbor, going for an unprecedented third term, neighbor, and the undecided neighbor is leading towards the governing party. No form of fatigue amongst them. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing for Mr. Jones is going into election, neighbor.
Confidence remains very high among the Jamaica Labour Party, Scratchy. Confidence remains very high. Why do you think laborites this time appears so very confident as they look forward to going to cast their ballots? I must tell you that everywhere I go in Jamaica, the excitement is phenomenal, to the point where I have decided to get some folks to go into the field to test what is happening there. My listeners, I'll tell a little bit more about that. But I get that the confidence among Labour Party supporters are very high, Scratchy. It seems that you are winning the election.
Most definitely, neighbor. Most definitely, the Jamaica Labour Party is winning election, neighbor. Neighbor, next good thing again going into an election for a third term, neighbor, is to make sure that your base is very motivated and very strong. And the base of the Jamaica Labour Party is very motivated, neighbor. Anyone, neighbor, we are Jamaicans, neighbor, we like to show off, we like to brag, and we like to boast. We don't want to believe it or not, neighbor. And every Labour right feel proud to know that they can boast and say, my party and my government have built up Jamaica. That is what Jamaica Labour Party supporters are so happy and feel good about.
Yes, and you know, Scratchy, I think there has been no prouder moment in our history. Pambo. I think there has been no prouder moment in our history than to see the country moving from debt indebtedness to now manageable, from a country where crime, we were the murder capital of the world, to now a place where people are beginning to sleep with their windows and doors open, from a country where people could hardly get jobs, to now a country where unemployment is 3.1%, from a country where poverty was over 16% to now poverty being cut in half, Scratchy. There are some fundamental indices that Jamaicans ought to be very proud of. Don't you think, Scratchy?
Without a doubt, neighbor, these are the indices, neighbor, that put us on a different level. These are the indices, neighbor, that have the global world looking at us. These are the indices, neighbor, why we are being used as an example for other nations, for other small nation, neighbor. These things that has been done by the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, it is not easy, neighbor. Neighbor, we have been in we live in a country, neighbor, where we're used to lukewarm type of leadership, neighbor. We're used to just the basics, neighbor. We're just used to nothing outer, nothing real. We never used to say anything real. Budget come and budget ready, and we know say a tax come. We don't see anything tangible going up in the country. We just know say, all right, that is it. Neighbor, when you see our government, neighbor, when the government goes to present the budget, neighbor, and the whole country is listening to the budget without any form of fear, or any fear monger, any form of anxiety, or nothing, that they don't have to worry about any new tax being introduced. That is a wonderful feeling, neighbor. And the Jamaica Labour Party has done it over 10 budget cycle, never done before in the history of Jamaica. So there's a lot of firsts with this government, neighbor. Some persons, I understand, they are not used to it as yet because of the rapid pace that the government is moving with. But trust me, I task those persons to please catch up, because we can't afford, neighbor, for the government to be moving much faster than the citizens of Jamaica. And I think that is why a lot of persons can't see or can't come to the reality of what is going on in the country, because they are so far behind and they are used to seeing nothing, neighbor, that it's just a norm for them. But they need to understand now that with the Jamaica Labour Party, everything has changed.
Scratchy, a government that has reduced crime in 1 year by 43%, that has unemployment at 3.1%, that has not raised taxes for 10 years, ought not to lose an election, Scratchy. Do you expect the party to win?
Most definitely, neighbor. When we look at all the things that the government has done, neighbor, there is no way, shape, or form this government can lose it or should lose the election. And I heard earlier, and you said something, neighbor. You said it shouldn't be disclosed. It shouldn't be disclosed, neighbor. The People's National Party, no poll should be out. The People's National Party should be nowhere near the Jamaica Labour Party in comparison to no polling. None. Nowhere near.
Are they really close? Are they really close, though, Scratchy? Or are we having an under measuring of Labour Party support?
That's what I call it. I call it an under measuring of Labour Party support. And earlier you said something, neighbor, where you said that the PNP is good at politics. The PNP is good at winning elections and stuff like that. But one of the points I want to make clear with your neighbor is that the reason why a lot of us see the PNP and say the PNP is good at winning elections and stuff like that, neighbor, even when the PNP is in power, neighbor, that organization doesn't know to differentiate itself from its party at no point in time. Even when they are in government, they are acting as a political party. They're never in any form of governance mode yet. Back in the manly days, neighbor, it was a hierarchy of the People's National Party who were making decisions for the country instead of the cabinet of Jamaica. So that's always how the People's National Party, that's their leadership style, neighbor. They always make it seem as if they are in party mode, even when they are in government.
The whole matter, Scratchy, of information, though, I am concerned about that. Because when I look, for example, at the different indices, how well the government has done. You know, a lot of Jamaicans don't even understand the whole matter of debt management and how the government has been able to invest so much in terms on the social side. It is because they have really done a fantastic job in managing the economy. It is one of the key performance indicators of this government, Scratchy, that they have done absolutely fantastic with the economy. Wouldn't you say?
Neighbor, every single thing that we are seeing being done right now, neighbor, in terms of projects, whether it want to be any road projects, the 100 water projects, the urban centers, the increase in the compensation package, neighbor, it is all being done as a result of the wonderful work of the economy. We hear the Prime Minister tell us, say, yes, the economy can yam. This is what it means when him say the economy can yam, neighbor. Nothing. So that's why I hear the Prime Minister tell the neighbor. So when time these 3-card man come in your constituency, these orange color people come and try to trick you and tell you, say, they're going to give you this. None of it cannot be done unless the economy grow. None of it cannot be done unless the economy grow. And the only political party in this country, the only government that can grow the economy is the Jamaica Labour Party government. And we have seen that time after time. And neighbor, the reason why we are getting so much rebuttal and so much personal rebuff in the good thing that the government is doing, neighbor, we have to understand in the neighbor. It's not easy when the same man who trick the mass and benefit from the mass is telling the mass that it's not him and I try pointing fingers somewhere else, you know. So that's what a person need to understand in the neighbor. It's trust me, neighbor. The Jamaica Labour Party, the Prime Minister feels satisfied. He said that he was battling for the minds of Jamaicans. And the Prime Minister right now, neighbor, feel that yes, he has won. And the Prime Minister will call the election. And we're going to show the PNP that yes, we have won the battle of the minds of Jamaicans. There are more well-thinking Jamaicans in Jamaica, neighbor, than persons who just want party politics and run down likes and freeness.
Well, I sincerely hope so. Scratchy, the greatest transfer of resources from the poor to the rich that would have occurred in this country since slavery was abolished. You remember that statement, sir?
I remember that statement, neighbor.
Which party did that? Your party?
No, neighbor, it was the People's National Party, neighbor, that presided over that, neighbor. It was the People's National Party, neighbor, who presided over 18 and a half years, neighbor, consecutively, neighbor, of anemic or anemic growth, and nothing wasn't going on in this country when the rest of the world, neighbor, was seeing prosperity. Jamaica was in deep water, drowning, out in deep sea, drowning. We could barely do some basic stuff, neighbor. We could even pay public sector workers, we could even pay workers, neighbor. When you say a government cannot pay its workers, neighbor, you know that is trouble, that spells trouble. And that was the People's National Party, neighbor. Every financial destruction that Jamaica has went through, neighbor, is as a result of the People's National Party. Or Jamaica only collapsed when the People's National Party is in power.
Yes. That 18 and a half years, Scratchy, was not very, very admirable at all. It was filled with a lot of mismanagement, a lot of errors and mistakes. And I think it has affected the PNP's credibility as they seek to win back the confidence of the Jamaican people. Many people, Scratchy, are very nervous that somehow these guys could retake government. You want to assure labor rights this evening, that is not going to happen.
Without a doubt, neighbor, I can assure labor rights, and I can assure our well-thinking Jamaicans, and I can assure all other well-thinking persons in the diaspora, persons who look to Jamaica as their destination where they have the vacation each year, persons who just see Jamaica and love Jamaica and visit, or persons who want to do business and raise a family in Jamaica. I can definitely say to those persons that the People's National Party will never, neighbor, win back a general election right now in Jamaica. Neighbor, the part that Jamaica is on, neighbor, we have never been on this part before. Finally, neighbor, we have a police force, neighbor, where we have seen some form of order now, neighbor. We are not seeing that much where persons are protesting against police again that much, neighbor. We have seen the police force taking time to change right before our eyes, neighbor. Right in front of our eye, we are seeing that change taking place with the security forces, not just the police force, the security forces by extension. We have seen a 43% decline in murder, neighbor. That is nothing normal. Remember, neighbor, you talk about murder capital. We were labeled the murder capital while the People's National Party was in government, neighbor. That's when Jamaica was the murder capital of the world. But now, so remember that now, neighbor. So when you look at our financial bucketive now, neighbor, we have a GDP of 68% to GDP. That's coming from 120, 130% when the People's National Party was in power. Again, neighbor, that is where we get the breathing space where we can have 100 water projects going on, neighbor. That is where we get the breathing space where we could add $200 billion to the compensation package of public sector workers, neighbor. That is where we get the breathing space, neighbor, where you can see, neighbor, where we are planning to advance the national stadium, bring it to a first class level, neighbor. That is where we get the breathing space where where we could have a social pension program, neighbor, where persons who didn't participate in the formal pension program while they were working, didn't contribute to that coffers, can still benefit now from that program, neighbor. You have seen an increase in the part program, neighbor. It is the Jamaica Labour Party that increased part lunch from 3 days a week to 5 days a week, neighbor. Yes. So when I hear the PNP talk about education, neighbor, sometimes I have to stop back and question them, neighbor. Go check what was the PNP total budget for education for 2015-2016.
I think you should point out too that it was your party that lifted cost sharing, the Jamaica Labour Party.
Exactly.
And fees from hospital. Two of the largest social policy ever in this country. A lot of people need to be aware of that, sir.
Exactly, neighbor. So sometimes, neighbor, when I hear persons say,
listeners online, and I tell you this, they might tired to hear it because it is the truth. There was a time in this country where people stayed home and died. They stand at their yard and dead because they could not afford to go to the hospital.
Exactly.
There was a time when people used to choose which one of them pick me to send go to school because they couldn't afford the school fee. Uno don't get me started here. I want to behave myself. Hold on there, Scratchy. Stay where you are. We have two comments online.
Yeah.
Pan-African? Pan-African?
Yeah, let me just interject. Scratchy.
Hold on, this, sir. I don't like that picture you have.
Which picture?
You're promoting smoking and smoking is bad for your health.
Oh. I soon change it. I change it every couple of weeks. I soon change it, man. But more ask Scratchy a question.
Don't come back up here with it.
Yeah, man, I soon change it. Scratchy, more ask the part where more people added to part under your government.
My government don't need to add more persons to part, sir. We remember, so we have a drop in the poverty level by 8.5%. So once there's a drop in poverty, once there's most persons working, don't need to add more persons to part program, sir.
But that's not what your this man McKenzie and the rest of them said. They said more people that the campaign trails. They said more people were added to part. That's the accomplishment of the government.
From 2016 to now. Yes, from 2016 to now. Compare over the years. From 2016, there's more persons. Poverty, remember, sir? Remember, poverty raised to almost 21% at one point in time after COVID. More persons were added to part during that time, of course.
Mm-hmm. So you created more poor people?
We created more poor people, sir. I said that
poverty. Part is for the poor.
I said that COVID, as a result of COVID, you remember what COVID did to the whole world and not just Jamaica alone? You remember how many persons were out of a job? Imagine if it was the People's National Party in government when time COVID struck. Just imagine.
So those people are still on part?
If they are still on part?
Yeah.
I suspect that a lot of them kids are still on part, of course. Listen, sir, part program is not just for poor people alone. Even persons who are in food, who can financially send them kids to school are still using the part program. So don't just come make it look like the part is a poverty thing or just a poor people alone. Part is program of advancement through health and education. It never said nothing about poor.
Yes.
It's a program of advancement through health and education. So no matter it don't matter if you're rich, it doesn't matter about we say everybody from part, person and part, sir, who can send them kids to school, but they still say, all right, this is a government program, a government initiative, I try going to school, so why not make use of it? It's not to say that I am poor or I am rich or whatsoever. But we have to understand that despite what was part was program that was started, part was, even though it was their neighbor, the social program neighbor, it wasn't meeting the needs of the persons who it set out to target neighbor.
You mean advancement? It was keeping them poor.
Yes, it was also keeping them poor neighbor. So what the government did, the JLP government in the neighbor, even the Prime Minister neighbor, it was the Prime Minister who introduced a special part in the neighbor, where in back to school time in the neighbor, parents get up to 10,000-20,000 in the neighbor towards them kids, to buy uniform and stuff like that,
What are you saying to me?
Yes, neighbor. It is the Prime Minister that kind of come and revamp and change a part. A lot of stuff changing part. Kids was getting lunch maybe 2 or 3 times. The JLP now I'd push it to 5 times a week.
Well, here you go, sir. Pan-Africanist. Anything else?
So part is not strictly about poverty. Part means program of advancement through health and education.
My friend in Portmore, my friend comrade in Portmore. Come in now.
What?
What you do? A long time in a company platform.
I see you checking me on all over the place, you know.
No.
You are my church brother. You must not do that. You are my church brother in the Lord. We are brothers in the Lord, so don't do that. You and I are good friends. Don't
Yeah, but
don't
just
do
like that. Don't like that,
Right.
Madiba. Okay, so yesterday I was listening to the Prime Minister, you know. The Prime Minister make a speech.
You listen to the Prime Minister, comrade.
Yes, man. Someone want to know when the election. The man said in his first 100 days. Hold on.
He said.
The Prime Minister said in the next 100 years, when he become a Prime Minister, he's gonna fix an election date. No, this is the first Prime Minister in the
100 years? 100 years?
No, man, days.
Okay. Yes.
He's gonna do a fixed election date. No, this is the first Prime Minister in the history of Jamaica is taking this long to call an election. Different from Siago in 1989.
Man, you
Hold
come
on.
back with that.
Yeah, but you know, say you don't like what we talk there. But
You don't hear him and say, I'm going to call the election soon.
Hold on. Just give me a few when I'm talking. I like to have the compare program. Just give me a few.
Yes.
So the man said, I will understand in 1989 because of Gilbert with Siago. So I understand with Siago part. But if he is the best, the Prime Minister declared himself that he is the best Prime Minister ever in the history of Jamaica. So why is he taking this long to call an election? Is the first Prime Minister take this long to call an election? If he's so confident and know that when he call election, victory is his, why he take this long to call an election?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because he don't want to he want to keep a little bit. Keep going a little bit more. Keep no belly, I go run your sister.
But neighbor, this is what I don't understand. Neighbor. Our constitution clearly states a day when the election is to call by, right? So why the PNP keep running around and saying the Prime Minister is afraid to call the election?
All right, Scotchy. The Parliament, the 5-year term ends on September 15th. That's the first sitting.
Yeah, but Pan-African, we are now near September 15th, so the Prime Minister still have time to call the election. After September 15th, you can talk.
Scratchy, that's 49 days away.
It doesn't matter. You need 21 days to come. Hey, the law tell us you need 21 days from nomination day to election day. So we're in good stand, sir. Sir, the law tells you that you need 21 days from nomination day to election. So the Prime Minister is well in his remit to call the election, sir.
Now give me a few, Scratchy. I'm going to stay on neighbor platform. In 2020, the Prime Minister, 1 year due, the Prime Minister declared a general election now, pandemic. And now, fast forward 2025, why the Prime Minister is bringing the election to the wire? We do not know. That's why we need a fixed election date. The man said, I'm going to do a fixed election date in the next 100 days when he become the Prime Minister. So why is he taking this long to call a general election?
So comrade, let's be real, let's be fair now, because sometimes we talk about the Prime Minister like him is not a human being and have extra powers. You never yet set out a timeline to do something you miss it before because of other things. When you go along in night, you realize, so this really now can't take me that time, yeah. So you look like me have to put another time and I have to do this and do that round. They say, so the government, sometimes the government I try to change the law, comrade. You have to look at every single aspect of the Constitution to make sure it's not infringed by nothing. Them things that take little time, comrade.
Beg you follow up on that.
All right.
And when Andrew in 2016 in first term, Scratchy just said need more time, him can set it for another day. But Andrew said that in his first term when he win 2016.
Yes, Pan-African, and after him win Pan-African.
Let's give me 1 second. I'm going to jump off, man, because I can't even two talk on it. He said in his first term, in the first 100 days, he will put a fixed election date. The man now is at the end of his second term. 9.5 years, and you are telling me say him couldn't arrange it in the second term? You scratch it?
Yeah, listen, a fixed election date, Pan-Africanists, I will come with the whole constitutional reform that you see that is going on where your party leader hold up right now. Okay? So that's one of the next reasons why.
You don't need a constitutional reform for that.
Yes,
you know that, man?
yes. Forget a fixed.
Andrew never mentioned that. Andrew never mentioned that name.
Pan-African, Andrew never mentioned everything Pan-African. We as people supposed to read. Hold on, comrade, hold on. Pan-African, we as people have to read and understand for ourselves. The Prime Minister said within the first 100 days, he would like to say, Ray, yes, it don't get to I'm Pan-African. You see me? Me did want to reach from me at 21 and right now me at 37. I'm still not rich. So that mean me give up. That mean me give up on being rich. So you have to understand Pan-African. The Prime Minister of the country, the Prime Minister come in while he was in opposition. He made something in our what you call it, our manifesto neighbor. Now when he come in office, he realized that in order to have a fixed election date, we have to look at every single aspect of our constitution to make sure so we're not jump upon no other part of the constitution with whatever we have got new law we have got introduced. No, that will go take time. No, after I do that now, you have to form a committee, a special committee, we have to go look into it because a new law is a coming in a Pan-African. So Pan-African do not think the things take like they just snap a finger and things that need a Pan-African.
10
Prime
years
Minister,
of time, Scratchy? 10 years
no,
of
listen,
time?
listen, a manifesto Pan-African, a manifesto.
Scratchy, if you get a youth in a 26 years, a 10-year-old, are going to high school now.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
That
Doesn't matter Pan-African. I'm sure Pan-African. What you want it to be? What going to primary school? What you want it to be?
Why you ask me them questions right about